So Vivek, run us through this sudden crash in Japan, and what led to it, and the 0% interest rate going away. How does this affect us?
So see, there is something known as the yen carry trade. Okay, and in order to understand the yen carry trade, it sounds like a very technical term, but it's at its heart, it's a very simple thing. There is what we call arbitrage at work. Okay, so in the late 1980s, the Japan had one of the greatest bubbles of all time. Not one of the greatest bubbles of all time. It had a bubble both in the stock market and the real estate market. In fact, the real estate in Tokyo was so expensive that people were taking out 100-year home loans, which would eventually be paid by their children and grandchildren. And the other great story is that the land, surrounding the palace of the king in Japan was more expensive than all the land in the state of California.
Yeah.
Now, it's perhaps not a true story, but it's a great story. The point being that there were these big bubbles, and the Bank of Japan, which is the Japanese central bank, and the Japanese equivalent of what is the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India. And so the Bank of Japan raised interest rates and burst the stock market bubble. It was, it burst the stock market bubble very, very quickly, but it couldn't burst the real estate bubble quickly, and the real estate bubble took time to burst.
Yeah.
And because it took time to burst, the Japanese economy suffered quite a lot because of that. So after the real estate bubble had been burst, the Japanese economy was contracting. It was what we say, what we call the gross domestic product, the GDP was contracting. So in order to sort of revive the economic growth, the central bank cut interest rates to very, very low levels. And this is where Japanese housewives came in, or what used to be called the Mrs. Watanabe trade. So some Japanese housewives figured out that it sort of made sense to borrow money in Japan at very, very low interest rates and invest it in other parts of the world where the chances of making a higher return, where they had chances of making a higher return. And this is how the yen carry trade started somewhere in the mid 1990s, wherein what is the carry here? The carry is essentially the difference between the return that you make on the money that you have borrowed in yen and the interest that you pay on the borrowed money. The difference between these two is the carry. Yep. So this is how the yen carry trade started, and the yen carry trade has been pretty much been around since then. A lot of money in the 2000 .com or the 1990s .com bubble came into the US through the yen carry trade. Also, what happened was, once the big financial institutions saw what these housewives have been doing, I mean, they figured out that if these housewives can do it, I mean, we can do it as well. So Japanese money drove a lot of bubbles all around the world. A similar thing happened in the run-up to the 2008 real estate crash in the US and Europe, where a lot of money from Japan found its way into different parts of the world. And some of that money came to India as well, right? Now, so this is like the historical background. But how does this history impact us in 2024 is a question that we need to answer. Now, what has happened in the last few years, since like February, March 2020, when the pandemic broke out? A lot of Western economies, US, UK, and the European Union, essentially cut interest rates to very, very low levels because the economy was suffering in the aftermath of the pandemic. So they needed essentially to revive the economy. And the hope was that once they had cut interest rates, people would borrow and spend money, and that would eventually help reviving the economy. The Japanese central bank, the Bank of Japan, has also done that. Yeah. Now, in the US has essentially, it essentially cut interest rates to almost zero, and then it started raising interest rates as well. And now the interest rates in the US are at a fairly high level. Whereas that is not true about Japan. In the last
4.5%, right, in the US.
In Japan, the interest rates were still very close to 0%. So the yen carry trade started all over again, wherein institutions borrowed money from Japan and invested it in other parts of the world. Now, two things are necessary for the yen carry trade to continue to be viable. The first is that interest rates in Japan either need to be like at the similar levels or need to go down, right? And the second thing is that the yen has to either remain at the same level against the dollar, or it has to depreciate, right? So by depreciation we mean it has to lose value against the dollar.
Correct.
The moment it starts to gain value against the dollar, the yen carry trade starts becoming
Gets nullified.
right? So two things happened in the last 1 month. Okay, around July 10th, the yen started appreciating against the dollar, and then very recently the Bank of Japan raised interest rates because inflation in Japan is now high. I mean, it's at some 2.5-3%, but by their standards it's high.
Yeah.
In India we would joke it off. So this essentially has led to a situation where the yen carry trade is not as
Lucrative.
is not as lucrative as it used to be, and which is why there was a sort of a sell-off all across the world. Also, see, in when we talk about things at such a macro level, it is not easy to attribute any rise or fall in a stock market just to one reason, because the stock market is a complex being. So so experts who follow these things have said that the fall has also been because the prospect of a recession in the US has gone up, and then the chances of a new war in the Middle East have also gone up. So there are all these reasons at play, and so this is why.
So I must confess to you, about a month ago I was busy checking hotel prices in Japan and tickets, because there was a huge tourist surge when the yen was weak, and including against the rupee for once. But unfortunately I didn't grab that opportunity, and now the yen is a little back up, not fully back up, but
one of your ex-colleagues is in Japan right now. He did sort of...
Oh really? I didn't know this. Okay. So anyway, missed chance for me. But this shock has happened with a mere 0.25% rate rise.
So which is why the markets have also not fallen much, and they have also recovered, right? So it's like, if you look, I think from last Friday to Monday, I think Thursday to Monday, the markets fell by around the Sensex, fell by around 3.8 to 4%. So it's not like a big fall. So which is why, that's the main reason, because I think the market is still not sure whether the Bank of Japan will continue raising rates. So that is what they are waiting for. Plus, the flood of retail money continues, right?
Is insatiable.